Hello, Madam, and hello, everyone. My name is Gao JiaMin. My mention number is 204796. And today I want to share about the poem which is called To Autumn. And first of all, let me recite it. To Autumn by Junkies. Season of mists and mellow fruitfulness. Close bosom friend of maturing sun, conspiring with him how to load and bless with fruit the vines that run that eaves run. To bend with apples the moss's cottage trees, and fill all fruit with ripeness to the core. To swell the gall, and plump the hazel shell with a sweet kernel, to set bounding more and still more later flowers for the bees, until they think warm days will never cease. For summer has all bring their clammy selves. Who has not seen me oft amid thy store? Sometimes whoever seeks abroad may find thee sit careless on a granary floor, thy hair soft-lipped by the winnowing wind, or have a half-repeated floor sung asleep, drowsed with a fume of poppies, while thy zig space the next was and all its twinned flowers. And sometimes, like a guinea, thou dost keep steady thy dainty hand across a brook, or by a cider press with patient look. Thou watchest the last oozings, hours by hours. Where are the sons of spring? Ah, where are they? Think not of them. Thou dies music too. While borrowed clouds bloom the soft dying day, and touch the stubble place with rosy hue, then in a well-filled choir the small gnats moon among the river shallows, blown aloft or sinking as a lightning wind leaves or died, and the foreground lamps long bleat from hilly bourne. Hedge critics sing, and now with trouble soft, the red-breast whistles from a garden croft, and gathering slovers twitters in the skies. And next, I want to show a little about the author who is called Jenkins. His work is a direct representation of life's conflicts, and the author does not just talk about his own troubles or his own life, but brings to the reader's attention to the world he lives in, which is full of fatigue, fever, and agitation. The author, with a sense of resentment, draws a picture of sorrowful and desolate world. The contrast between the sadness of the world and the happiness of the nightingale is a powerful contrast which sets off the author's main theme of pressing this internal beauty and reveals his humanistic tendencies and views. In his work, reality and idealism are intertwined, forming his distinctive creative style. Throughout his life, Kings pursued beauty, leaving his imaginations to pursue it in mystery, so that he never forgot his responsibility to society as a whole. Many of his work are profound representations of the realities of life. He denounced society and tried to relieve the evil side of human nature, showing the real tragedies of that period. As an English poet, Polly Bishishari said, He was part of the beauty that was once embodied by him to make it more lovely. Okay, let's turn to about the poem. First of all, I want to share my understanding of the three stanzas. Actually, I believe that the poem is divided into three stanzas. And the first one is about the color of autumn, and next is about the people in autumn, and last but not least is about the sound in autumn. At the beginning of the poem, the poet describes the sea of autumn with great enthusiasm, taking the reader's eyes from the clear blue sky to the eaves with wings, from the old tree in front of the house to the ripe fields. The poet focuses on the ripe flowers of autumn, accompanied by singing bees and late blooming flowers to gorgeous and colorful autumn sea. Next one is about the second stanza is about autumn people. Autumn people sit on the floor of the weather house too and sleep soundly in the hot-cut field. The harvest and warmth are portrayed through the images of people. These images are centered on people, forming a warm picture of the harvest. The second stanza is about the sound of autumn. In this stanza, we see a spectacular sea of the sun setting and melting gold. Autumn is transformed into many specific creatures, like flying insects, flocks of sheep, crickets. However, in this glorious autumn light, we clearly hear the sad sound of nature's creatures, bemoaning the gravity of autumn and the approaching cold. As flocks of swallows are busy migrating to the warm stores to escape the cold winter. Okay, in the poem, I just find there are 5 kinds of image which are used in the poem to autumn. And in the first stanza, it has tactile image, visual image, gustatory image, and in the second stanza, I can see the tactile image, visual image, and olfactory image. And in the second stanza, I can also see the tactile image and auditory image. Let's start in first stanza. In first stanza, I can see the visual image like Dutch eaves, apples, ground, hazel shells, little flowers, and bees. About the tactile image, I can see the load and blast, round, bend, fill, swell, and plump. How about the gustatory image? I think that about the sweet kernel ripeners to core. What's more, I find the metaphor. For example, in this stanza, like the close, somber friend and conspring, the poet depicts autumn and the sun as good friends, and use of the metaphor makes the readers immediately see the entirety of autumn. The use of metaphor makes the readers immediately see the picture image of autumn, which makes a strong sense of language and an outstanding impression. The first stanza I believe that it is the description of the natural scenery. Like the odor is like the sky to the thatch and like the tree to the field, which full of later flowers and the bees. Like the sun loud and blessed by sparing the fruit. The apples are so numerous that they weight bend the trees, and the clouds swell and the house nuts plant. Sweet kernel and ripeness to the core indicates fruits maturation. Later flowers did not burn in summer but in autumn, so that bees increasingly working. It shows a very colorful picture of autumn with fruitness. Okay, let's turn to about the second stanza. In second stanza, I can see the visual image like sea sitting colorless on the granary floor. Hell, half repeated floral twinned flowers, the last zoomings. And what's more about the olfactory image, the filmy of poppy. And I can show a little about the emotional attitude in this stanza. It is not difficult to see the poem's deep intention. Through this dramatic impression, he hopes to establish communication with the readers, deepen their visual impression of the autumn sea, and stimulate their desire and attachment to the beauty of the autumn harvest. The second stanza is a description of the harvest in autumn. It presents the personification of autumn as a harvester who is sitting on the granary floor and sleeping on the half-repeat floor, which indicates a warm picture of harvest. And thy hair soft lifted by the wintering wind. It shows autumn was personified as a beautiful woman. Drawn with the film of poppies, it is an olfactory image. The fragrance of the poppy was so strong that readers can almost feel it. Okay, let's turn to the last stanza. I can see the auditory image in it, like the loud black hedge cricket sings, the red branch whistles, gatherings, swallows twitter. And I can see the onomatopoeia, for example, waffle, blood, whistle, and twitter all use onomatopoeia to describe the sounds of crickets, sheep, robins, and swallows. The use of these onomatopoeia words makes the sounds so subtle that the readers feel like that they are there and can hear them. The use of these words makes the sounds so beautiful that the reader can just feel like if she or he in the sea and hear the sounds. Through various creatures, the autumn was specific. However, the sounds was awful, and animals mourned the departure of autumn. Last but not least, let me make a comprehension about this point. In this point, there are 3 stanzas, and I believe that the first stanza is about the morning early autumn, and the second stanza is about afternoon, the middle autumn, and The third stanza is about dusk, the heralding of winter, just into winter now. Okay, after reading the poem to autumn, the author dies with the presence of nature and how autumn itself is more significant than any of the other seasons. And a deeper reading could suggest that the author wants to talk about the progress of life. Autumn symbolized mutually in human and animals' life. Okay, thank you for listening my video.